Hello guys, it's Teenage DC Fan back in this video, and it was a rough week for the heroes and villains of Gotham City, as the fallout continued not just from Crisis, but from the events of last week's episode as well. So, of course, Kate returned to her office on her birthday to discover her once presumed dead, now maniacal murderer's sister, acting as though Alice was all a dream. Meanwhile, Sophie has the real Alice locked in an interrogation room at the Crow headquarters. As things only get weirder from there. So just a quick warning here, this video does contain spoilers for Season 1, Episode 11 of Batwoman, an unbirthday present. So you have been warned. And an extra Beth on Earth Prime means a prime opportunity for everyone to get up in their Beth feelings. Literally everyone, with the possible exclusion of Luke, who, if we're being honest, desperately needs some story time spent on his development. Although I love the relationship that he and Kate have, but he's not quite his own character yet. Like they need to have him, give him his own character arc, own storyline, something, instead of just being, the guy in the chair that's sitting there telling Kate what to do. But yeah. So Kate has perhaps the most complicated feelings about her sister. The one she always wanted to know, actually standing in front of her alive and well, and a PhD student in astrophysics. So after their initial confrontation, in which Kate attacked Beth, and Beth responded by pepper spraying her sister in the face, Kate doesn't waste any time in revealing to Beth that she is not on her own Earth. Beth is a crisis anomaly, just like other things that have been going on in these Arrowverse shows. So something that will probably be popping up throughout the Arrowverse in this initial universe reboot. And she takes it pretty well, actually, which is quite surprising. And turns out having advanced degrees in astrophysics will prepare you for the possibility of falling through the cracks of the collapse of the multiverse, apparently. But with everything figured out, Kate and Beth get right to the task of getting to know one another all over again, which is when Kate learns that in Beth's reality, or Earth, or whatever, they were still in that car accident when they were 13, only that time, Kate climbed back into the car and saved her sister. And it's something Kate always believed. She'd always been told that if she'd gotten back in the car, she would have died as well. But this version of Beth is confirmation, to her at least, that she made the wrong choice when she was a kid. Kate could have saved her sister from a life of torture and kept Alice from being made at all. And the compounds of the guilt that she already feels for having been so close to finding Beth in that basement and still failing to. In Kate's mind, what happened to her sister is as much her fault as anyone else's. And this kind of self-pity, I guess you could say, or guilt, that you could have stopped a terrible thing from happening when you were a literal child, seems to be a reason that she ended up donning the Batsuit. But meanwhile, Mouse, he decides to get Alice back by offering a trade. Return Alice to the Wonderland gang, and he won't brutally murder the sons of Gotham's mayor and police commissioner. What a great deal. He should go on Let's Make a Deal. He sounds like a good deal maker. So, also, he throws in Kate into the mix as well, just to sweeten the deal, of course. He's really good with these deals. And Sophie isn't about to cave into such demands, especially after Kate uses their secret code to tell her not to, but she's still going to use the opportunity to interrogate Alice, and Alice is all too willing to tell the next chapter of her sad little story. After all, it gives her the perfect opportunity to throw Sophie off her game. And Alice more or less completes the tale of how Beth became the woman sitting across from Sophie. It's sad and traumatizing and full of death and gore and torture. Trapped in that basement, she needed an escape, so she had to become something else. Someone else. In order to deal with the terrible things that were going on around her. And so she found peace with a book. And on the day, she learned two terrible things at once: how to make a face out of human skin, and that her family had moved on without her. And she also learned that she was never making it out of that basement alive. And so Alice was born. That, she says, that she says is something she and Sophie share. Sophie too has lived her life trapped in a dark room, unable to be the person she always wanted to be, unable to be out, and so she too has created a new identity. Not the person she was or is, but the person she had to be. So Sophie has all but admitted the same. She has never felt safe enough or secure enough to be the true person that she is around the people she loves. And she became someone else to protect the person she was inside. And in that way, Alice is right. They honestly have a lot in common. And it's odd when you intend to interrogate a vicious murderer and end up in the world's worst therapy session instead. But back at Mouse's junkyard of evil, he's tied Kate and the two young men inside a car, which is now drowning in gasoline. But before he can light the match, who shows up but Alice, or should I say Beth? Because you see, Luke just couldn't sugarcoat what was really going on. So he immediately informed Beth that Kate had been kidnapped, and Beth, to her credit, decided she was finally going to get the opportunity to repay her debt to Kate for pulling her out of that car 15 years ago. Turning Beth into Alice offers Mary her own opportunity to deal with some complicated feelings toward her new sort of stepsister, and Beth says she doesn't blame Mary for hating her after everything that happened. For all that she looks like Alice, though, Beth is not very good at playing the part, and she quickly reveals her hand to Mouse, who locks her in the trunk of the car and sets it on fire. But thankfully, the delay has given Kate enough time to set herself free and throw Mouse into some debris and finally do what she wished she had done all those years ago. Unwilling to watch her sister die in a car all over again, Kate pulls Beth out at the last second, and then everything blows up. But they escape, so, everything is good. They're all good. Or is it? Because back at Crow's HQ, Sophie orders Alice taken away to Arkham. But as she is being dragged down the hallway, Sophie discovers that Alice has spent their time talking, carefully removing the fishing wire that held her precious copy of Alice in Wonderland together. Outside, she uses that same fishing wire to help her take out the two guards and nearly kills Sophie. Instead, though, she leaves Sophie alive to be tortured by the thoughts that their conversation has likely stirred in her mind, as that will be a much more terrible punishment than death. And later, as Kate, Beth, Mary, and Luke celebrate the twins' birthday at Kate's new bar, The Hold Up, Beth suddenly doubles over in some kind of terrible pain, and Alice is feeling it too. So, in 3 weeks, that's right, 3 whole weeks, we're not getting another episode until 3 more weeks from now. That's a long time. But anyway, there's only room for one Beth on this earth, which means either Crisis Beth or Alice will have to die. Or, maybe they just merge. But one will live, and one will die. Maybe. Now, something else I'd like to mention that didn't really feel like it fit in with, the overarching story of this episode, I just wanted to, add in here, that the GCPD, the police commissioner refused to turn on the bat signal following her coming out, because to do so would be making a statement taken aside in the political discussion of LGBTQ plus issues. By the end of the episode, though, Kate witnesses a mass reports of people descending on GCPD headquarters and demanding that he turn it on. So they're all there supporting him, her, and they're taking a stand for her. And yeah, so I just like how they all gathered together to stand up for Kate, even though they don't know it's Kate. But to them, they don't care that she's a lesbian. They just know that she's a hero, and she's a beacon of hope and courage, because she's the paragon of courage. So I just like that. And that was a nice touch. But like I said, we don't have another episode for 3 whole weeks. I think. I might be getting that wrong. Maybe it's 2. It's February 16th. So I don't know. I think it's 3. But let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this episode and my review. So thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.